Italy, a place full of passion, beauty, and let's be honest, some of the quirkiest and most charming rules you'll ever come across. Italians are famous for being loud, expressive, and of course, having that undeniable flair for style. But behind all the drama, there's a code, a set of rules that every true Italian follows. So, if you've ever wondered what it takes to be Italian, you're in the right place. Grab your cappuccino, but remember, only if it's breakfast time. And let's dive into the 20 rules Italians never break. 1. Greetings. Kiss, kiss, kiss. But start on the right. Alright, let's kick things off with a big one. Greetings. If you're meeting an Italian, chances are you're gonna get kissed. Now, don't get excited. We're talking about a friendly peck, not some movie-worthy kiss. But here's the deal. It's not just one kiss. Oh no, you'll get 2, sometimes 3, and it's on the cheek. But wait, there's more. You have to start on the right side. You can't just jump in willy-nilly. If you start on the left, you're gonna throw the whole thing off. It's basically a greeting fail. Different regions might have their own rules, but this is one thing you never mess with. So, remember right side first. And if you're in doubt, just go for the 2 or 3 kisses. It's all part of the Italian charm. And speaking of charm, let's talk about one of the most iconic Italian things you'll encounter, coffee. 2. Espresso. Don't even think about filtered coffee. So now that you've nailed the greeting, let's talk about how Italians do their caffeine. If you're thinking about ordering a filter coffee, let me stop you right there, that's a no-go. In Italy, coffee isn't a slow drip affair. No, it's espresso, and it's served fast and strong. You get it in a tiny cup, and you drink it quickly, like before you even blink. Forget about ordering an Americano, too. You'll just get a watered-down espresso, which is kind of like calling a Ferrari just a fast car. And if you're thinking of asking for a latte, well, don't. A latte in Italy is just milk, so unless you're in the mood for a glass of milk, you better know exactly what you're ordering. Now, once you've gotten your caffeine fix, there's a crucial rule about the timing of your drink. 3. No cappuccino after breakfast. All right, so you've had your espresso. And now you're feeling all Italian and chic. Right, well, don't get too ahead of yourself. If you try to order a cappuccino after breakfast, you're in for a serious Italian side-eye. In Italy, cappuccinos are strictly a morning thing. It's like asking for a cocktail at 10 a.m. It just doesn't fly. But don't worry, you can still enjoy your milk and coffee combo. Just ask for a macchiato instead. It's basically an espresso with a little milk foam, and trust me, it's the real Italian way to do it. Speaking of doing things the right way, there's another rule Italians take very seriously. 4. Eye contact when toasting. Now, when it's time for a toast, and yes, there's always time for a toast, Italians have one simple rule. Make eye contact. It's like a universal law. No looking down at your glass, no distracted glances, you look the person in the eye. It's about respect, connection, and well, making sure you're not about to toast with someone who's secretly plotting against you. Eye contact during a toast isn't just a nice gesture, it's part of the ritual. And let's not forget, you better be drinking good wine. If you're in Italy, that's the one thing you can rely on. Excellent wine, always. And once you've clinked glasses and taken that perfect sip, here's the next rule about looking good in Italy. 5. No white socks. Ever. Alright, we've covered the toast, but now let's dive into something serious fashion. And when I say serious, I mean don't even think about it. If you show up in white socks in Italy, you're basically asking for judgment. It's a fashion crime of the highest order. Like wearing sandals with socks, it's just not done. Italians are all about looking sharp, clean, and polished. White socks, however, don't fit that vibe. Stick to darker shades, black, navy, or if you're feeling bold, a deep brown. But white socks? Nope. It's one of those unspoken rules you don't break. Kind of like a secret Italian handshake. Now that you've got your socks sorted, let's talk food, because Italians are serious about their meals, and there's a specific order you must follow. Trust me, this one's important. 6. The sequence of a proper meal. Now, when you sit down for an Italian meal, it's not just about the food, it's about the order. Italians have a sacred sequence you must follow, or else you might as well be a tourist. First, you kick things off with antipasto appetizers that get your taste buds warmed up. Then, it's primo pasta or soup, something to fill you up just right. After that, you move on to secondo, the main dish, usually meat or fish. And don't forget the dolce dessert, the sweet ending to a perfect meal. But here's the key, no jumping ahead. You don't start with dessert or mix meats out of order. It's all about savoring each course and respecting the rhythm of the meal. Italians take their dining seriously. And if you want to fit in, so should you. 7. Bread is not an appetizer. In Italy, bread is a big deal, but not in the way you might think. It's not just an appetizer or sidekick to your meal. No, it's a staple that stays on the table throughout the entire meal. It's always fresh, hearty, and absolutely essential. But here's the twist. Italians don't serve it with butter, olive oil, or balsamic vinegar. That's right, bread is meant to be enjoyed as is. It's simple, straightforward, and perfect in its natural state. You might think, hey, can I dip it in olive oil? And the answer is nope. Italians believe the bread itself is enough. It's not a starter or a snack. It's part of the meal's rhythm, so don't overthink it. Just grab a piece and enjoy it the Italian way. Now that we've sorted the bread, it's time to dive into something truly iconic: pasta. 8. No spaghetti and meatballs. Alright, let's clear up a classic misunderstanding: spaghetti and meatballs. In Italy, that's a big no-no. Italians don't do that combo. It's one of those American inventions that just didn't make the trip across the Atlantic. When Italians eat spaghetti, it's always with a variety of sauces, like a rich ragu or a simple marinara. But meatballs, they don't get dumped on top of your pasta. Meatballs have their own moment, served separately, maybe with a side of something else, but never, ever tangled up in your spaghetti. So, if you ever find yourself in Italy and someone offers you spaghetti with meatballs, politely decline. It's not the Italian way. Just keep your pasta and meatballs separate, and trust me, you'll be eating like a true Italian. And speaking of true Italian dishes, let's talk about one you must get right: pasta. 9. Alfredo sauce doesn't exist. Speaking of pasta, let's talk about a dish that definitely doesn't belong in Italy: Alfredo sauce. Don't even think about asking for it. That's straight up Hollywood, folks. In Italy, Alfredo sauce doesn't exist, and Italians would never ever put something so creamy on their pasta. It's just not done. Instead, Italians stick to the classics, like carbonara, which, by the way, does not contain cream. Nope, it's all about eggs, cheese, and pancetta. The real Italian way to enjoy pasta is without all the fancy sauces that you might find in American Italian restaurants. So, if you're craving Alfredo, maybe head to a non-Italian spot, but in Italy, keep it traditional. Stick to what they do best. Now that we've cleared that up, let's get to one of Italy's most sacred foods: pasta. 10. The right way to cook pasta. Alright, if you're going to make pasta the Italian way, there are some non-negotiables you need to know. First off, always salt the water before you even think about boiling it. Don't skip this step. It's like a cardinal rule of pasta making. Forget it, and you might just get kicked out of the kitchen. But that's just the start. The real magic happens when you cook the pasta. It must be al dente. If it's mushy, you've messed up. Italians believe in pasta that has a bite to it, something you can really sink your teeth into. So, no overcooking allowed. You want it firm, not soft, every single time. Get it right, and you'll be eating pasta like a true Italian. And speaking of pasta, there's one more thing we need to talk about: pizza. Let's dive into that next. 11. Pizza. Don't mess with it. Alright, let's talk pizza. And Italians are serious about their pizza. You know that pizza you've had with pineapple or chicken? Yeah, don't even think about asking for that in Italy. Italians like to keep it simple. You want pizza? You're getting either a thin crust Neapolitan pizza or a crisp Roman pizza. That's it. Don't even ask for crazy toppings or some special creation. Italians believe in fresh, simple ingredients like tomatoes, mozzarella, and basil. That's the magic. No need for pineapple, no need for BBQ chicken, just the basics. It's classic, it's perfect, and anything else is just, well, not pizza. Now, after pizza, there's one last thing we need to cover: salad. But not just any salad. 12. Keep your salad simple. Let's talk salad, but not the kind you're used to. In Italy, salad is as simple as it gets. We're talking greens, maybe a few tomatoes, and then a generous drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Oh, and a splash of vinegar or balsamic to finish it off. That's it. No crazy dressings, no croutons, no fancy toppings. Italians believe in keeping it fresh, light, and totally unpretentious. The salad is a side dish, not a showstopper. So, forget about the Americanized salads you've seen. No need for all that extra stuff. Keep it simple, keep it fresh, and you'll be eating like a true Italian. And now that we've covered salad, there's something else you definitely want to avoid messing with an Italian's favorite time of day. Let's dive into that next. 13. Always wash your hands. Always? Italians? Yeah, we take hygiene seriously. It's like an art form. If you're about to eat with an Italian, there's one rule you can't break. Wash your hands first. Don't even think about grabbing food without doing it. It's not just about cleanliness. It's part of the whole Italian experience. Clean hands, clean life. Simple as that. You wash up, and then you eat like you've been living your best, most hygienic life. It's just something we do. No questions asked. So, now that you're all washed up and ready to eat, let's talk about the next Italian rule that's all about taking your time. And that's about enjoying every meal. 14. No wet hair in public. Italians are all about looking sharp, and wet hair in public? Oh, that's a big no-no. If you're a woman and you're caught walking around with wet hair, expect a few raised eyebrows, or worse, a disapproving glance. Why? Italians believe that wet hair is basically a one-way ticket to catching a cold, and no one wants that. Dry hair is the key to good health, and Italians don't take chances. So, always make sure your hair's dry and styled before you head out. It's just one of those unspoken rules. Now that you've got the hair situation sorted, let's move on to another Italian. Must protecting yourself from a draft. Yes, really. 15. Beware the draft. Speaking of cold, Italians are absolutely terrified of drafts. Seriously. You'll see them inspecting the room like they're looking for the perfect seat, all to avoid sitting near an open window or air conditioning. Why? Because a draft could ruin your meal, or worse, mess with your digestion. Italians believe that sitting in a draft can throw off your whole system, and that's a risk they won't take. So, if you're ever in Italy and you see someone obsessing over the seating, now you know why. It's not just about comfort, it's about survival. Now that we've survived the draft, let's move on to another Italian habit that's all about staying warm. After a big meal, of course. 16. Don't swim after eating. As a kid, Italians are taught that swimming right after eating is a huge no-no. It's one of those rules that gets drilled into you, and honestly, they don't care if you're an adult, the warning still stands. If you've had pasta, you better wait at least 2 hours before diving into the water. It's a rule, no exceptions. And don't even think about questioning it. The consequences could be dire, or at least, that's what the older generations will tell you. So, if you're planning a swim, make sure your stomach has had enough time to settle. And now that you're not swimming just yet, let's talk about one more post-meal ritual, the drink that helps you digest. Trust me, you'll want to know about this one. 17. Digestive drinks after dinner. After a big Italian meal, there's one thing you can't skip, the digestivo. It's a special drink that helps with digestion, but let's be honest, it's really just a great excuse to have another drink. Italians take their digestivo seriously, and it's an essential part of the meal, whether it's a shot of grappa, limoncello, or some other local favorite. It's all about making sure everything settles properly. And hey, it's a tradition. Who's going to argue with that? So, after you've enjoyed your pasta, your meat, your dessert, raise a glass to digestion. Cheers. Now that we've covered how to wind down a meal, there's one more Italian habit we need to address: avoiding any sudden temperature changes. Trust me, it's a big deal. 18. The temperature of your food matters. Italians are pretty picky when it comes to the temperature of their food. And for good reason. After a meal, you never expose yourself to cold. Why? Because it could mess with your digestion, and nobody wants that. Italians believe that once you've had a hearty meal, you need to keep your body warm to help everything settle properly. So, if you're planning on going out into the cold right after dinner, forget it. You'd better grab a jacket, a blanket, or something cozy to keep things running smoothly. It's not just a suggestion, it's an Italian rule you can't break. And speaking of rules, let's talk about one that's all about keeping your body in tip-top shape, especially when it comes to food combos. Let's dive into that next. 19. Never mix meat and fish. Italians are serious about their food combos. And here's a big one. Never, ever mix meat and fish. It's considered a crime against your stomach. Italians believe these two shouldn't even be on the same plate, let alone in the same bite. So, if you're enjoying a nice steak, don't go tossing in some seafood on the side. They'll look at you like you've just committed a major culinary faux pas. Keep them separate, and your digestive system will thank you. Trust me, it's not just about preference, it's a rule of Italian dining. Now that we've tackled food combos, let's wrap things up with something truly essential to Italian life: family. Let's dive into that next. 20. Never forget the family. Last but definitely not least, family is everything in Italy. From Sunday dinners to holiday celebrations, Italians put family above all else. It's not just a nice idea, it's a way of life. So, if you're ever invited to an Italian family meal, consider it a huge honor. You've officially made it into the inner circle. It's not just about the food, though that's important too. It's about the love, the traditions, and the feeling of being truly welcomed. Family comes first, and when you're part of that, you're part of something special. And with that, you've officially learned how to live like an Italian: family, food, and all the little rules that make it all come together. Buon appetito. So there you have it. The 20 rules Italians never break. Stick to these, and you might just pull off the ultimate Italian impression. But remember, it's not just about following the rules. It's about embracing the passion, enjoying life, and savoring every single moment. It's the Italian way, after all. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Trust me, they'll thank you for it. And stay tuned for more exciting videos coming your way. We've got tons of cool stuff lined up that you won't want to miss. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with even more fun Italian tips and insights.